Hello.
Hey everyone, and welcome back for another SCS
Another
Software
one.
stream. We're still celebrating 10 years of American Truck Simulator throughout the whole month of February, and we're back with a very special guest in the studio. We've got Pavel Šebor, the CEO of SCS Software, back with us again. How you doing, Pavel?
Welcome back.
Great. Thanks for your warm welcome. I'm happy to be here again.
It was like Christmas special for last time for you,
It was
right?
the last time, yeah.
Yeah, that's our yearly regular. And then the releases, right? And there's more of them every year. So
Oh yeah.
Of
we'll
course.
play a couple of more
You
times.
become an influencer, content creator.
Yeah. Put it on the CV. There you go. We've also got Nemiro behind the wheel as well, head of PR and marketing. Good to see you
Hey,
again,
everyone.
Nemiro.
Yeah,
On
always
our
excited.
second stream of the week. Yesterday we had Western
Yes, sir.
Star talking about Star Nation. That was a lot of fun.
And tomorrow another one.
Yeah, back with
Hat
another one
trick.
tomorrow as well. So definitely, if you're not already, make sure you're following because you're missing out on loads of streams if you're not already following. And today, well, we're going to be doing a little bit of driving in American Truck Simulator and reminiscing a little bit about American Truck Simulator. And of course, talking with Pavel about the history of American Truck Simulator, maybe picking his memory a little bit on, well, the past and the present and maybe even a little bit of the future. We'll see where the conversation leads. But otherwise, it's great to see all of you in the chat, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. Great to see lots of familiar names. Let's get a quick location check to see where everyone's tuning in
Oh my
from.
god, you just called the elevator, yeah?
I
Straight
did,
on,
yeah, I
straight
did.
on, okay.
Straight away. Absolutely. And Nemiro, where are we driving today? Where are you at the moment?
I think we're still in Oregon from yesterday's stream, and we're in the city of Eugene. We just passed the city of Eugene, which is more on the west in Oregon. And in a few miles, we'll be reaching our final destination, and I believe we will see if they have any job for us there after that one.
All right. Sounds good. It's been quite nice actually, because over this kind of like time where we've been celebrating 10 years of American Truck Simulator, we've had the opportunity to speak with quite a few different people from our team who've been here for quite a long while, involved in American Truck Simulator's growth and progression and where it is today.
It's
And
kind
we've
of cool
actually
to hear
gotten
from them, right? Like how
Yeah.
they were like reminiscing down the road about the beginnings or their
we've gotten to
first
see
projects.
so many different places around American Truck Simulator and getting their kind of like thoughts and opinions and you know, memories about these places, whether it might have been one of the first towns they ever created as a map designer, or you know, just some of their favorite areas in American Truck Simulator. So it's been real nice, and we urge all of you after the stream, of course, check out our YouTube channel to check out all of the VODs there. If you missed out on some of those 10 years of ATS streams, then definitely worth watching back. But today, well, we're so privileged to have Pavel with us. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. I know it's been busy for you to join us again on the stream. And I would love to kind of get into your mind a little bit, if that's okay, memory-wise, about American Truck Simulator. Because I'd love to take it back to some of the first days from when it was kind of being almost a concept coming together almost.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that, of course, SCS Software had a lot of experience with like American trucks in terms of like previous titles, right? That was like Hard Truck and
Right,
such
actually,
like this.
Even some
This is
hunting in the
such
Yeah,
an
even
ancient
hunting.
history.
Yeah,
We're
it's such
talking
ancient
like
history.
quarter century back almost when we were
Yeah.
first exposed to this
like you always
phenomenon.
say, we were not born back then.
Most of you were just, you know, kids in diapers.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, I was, you know, we are going to completely off script today, right? We don't have any
No,
plan. We will just
No.
freestyle it.
Yeah.
This is
So
freestyling.
let's try. I'll try to dig up whatever my memory still is able to serve. You know, SCS has bumped into the phenomenon of truck sims around, what was it, like really the turn of the century, I would even say. Is it even possible? Yeah, I guess the first 80 Wheels of Steel, Hard Truck 80 Wheels of Steel must have been released 2002 or something. Crazy,
Yeah.
ages ago. So that was a period when we were first, this tiny team of, I don't know, 6-7 people would have a year to build a whole new game. In fact, it wasn't even possible then. We had to steal from ourselves, making like the sequels of the 18 Wheels of Steel franchise based on top of the previous year's edition. But for a few years, we didn't really know what we are doing, where we are going. We had little grasp of trucking, like a phenomenon, a cultural phenomenon or concept or stuff. We just did our best. And then Eurotruck was born out of industry changes and whatever as our own game. But SCS, as of today, 400 people. But back then was like 12 people, maybe. In good times, sometimes shrinking, sometimes growing back to 12 or 14. And after the success of Eurotruck and Eurotruck 2, we are getting there with American Truck. We are talking, I don't know, 2013, 14, a time when Eurotruck 2 was really shining. Suddenly, the game was all the rage on Steam. We were in the charts. We were accepted by the gaming press as a
It was
real
greenlit,
game,
yeah, I
not
remember.
just something like for weird people.
Mhm.
And we were bombarded constantly by the truck sim community. Can we do other regions? Can we do Brazil? Can we do Japan? Can we do all of the globe? People would be asking for covering their
which is
territory,
still
which
happening.
is still true. But of course, given the fact that trucking in the U.S. is kind of a phenomenon that you find in movies, that it's really like the country runs on diesel, right? On the economy is there. It's so much of the image of the inner workings of the country was always trucking. The strongest demand would come from people who wanted to be there, and we were at a kind of crossroads because we had this commitment to continue developing Eurotruck 2. And how do you grow? How do you scale? How do you even manage to do it? So somehow, maybe like not even knowing what we are getting into, we said, you know what? Let's try and let's set aside a tiny team. I think originally it may have been 6, maybe later 8 people.
Wow.
Maybe growing up to 10 on release, but really tiny team that, by today's standards anyway, that would start with the huge continent. And how do we even like get into it? How do you unpack it? It was so much content. It's a different continent. We Europeans, our like road markings, everything is different, and suddenly we were. The bar was set higher than previously. We were supposed to do the science ride. We were supposed to do the traffic ride. We were supposed to have proper AI vehicles in the traffic. Well, the community and everybody was expecting us to do licensed vehicles. Now, back in the early days, we didn't have the cloud to approach vehicle manufacturers and discuss real licenses. So very early, fans may remember that we had these fancy made-up names for trucks rather than calling them by proper
I do remember
brands.
that, yeah. Yeah.
But then the expectation was different. Like the quality of the art was higher, and we could no longer even dare to release unlicensed vehicles. It would be risking the future of the franchise if the big guys were upset and agitated by us stealing their designs without proper attribution, proper branding. So a lot of stuff was happening around 2012, 13, 14. Just as the game was starting to, the team was starting to emerge and so we're starting to finalize the early concept. People may also remember that, especially because we knew it's such a tiny team and we would have a hard time scaling up. Initially, the scaling factor, how to put it, our map minification was not about 1 to 20, which is what we are using now in shrinking the distances. It was closer to 1 to 30 or some ratio like that, which gave us a slightly higher chances of ever covering the continent. But in fact, what we realized only later is that if we keep also compressing the time in the game world by 1 to 30, the day and night was switching so fast that we kind of made like a sleeping simulator, because you always had to worry about when to sleep next, when to take a compulsory break, or this was distracting from the reasonably kind of working pace of the world that was established by Eurotruck 2. So very early in the project, we also made some. It was after the game was actually released, but we made some alterations. So the history of the project is long. It's full of weird things. We may get to some of them, but it was always kind of discovery on the way. We had little doubt that we somehow will pull it off, but we were going into adventures that we didn't have full understanding of, and that we maybe underestimated quite a few things. And but it's just life. This is game dev, right? This is what happens. You just have to believe in your instincts. But this is such a long time ago, and unfortunately, quite a few of the original team members are not here anymore. But quite a few still are. So I guess when you are this month discussing things with people who do have better memory than me, you may have heard some of these stories already, or you may be hearing them next. A lot of stuff happening around ATS.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, it's been so interesting to kind of hear about back then how different the team was. Of course, SCS has grown incredibly since that time, but it also amazes me just how much the team back then was able to achieve, for its time and for its size. And by no means, like you said, it was no small feat that you guys achieved to put out American Truck Simulator, and look at what it's grown to today. And I think that's a question I want to ask you. I mean, now that you're here right now in the present, 10 years on from the release of American Truck Simulator, how does that feel to you? Can you believe it's kind of grown as much as it has? And of course, with such amazing things on the way, including more states and even, road trip and getting into other vehicles. There must be quite a bit of a surreal feeling for you, Pavel.
Yeah, I always tell myself that this is incredible. I would not believe it. Like 10, 12, 15 years
Someone
ago,
will tell you, right?
Somebody told me that this can be a stable, working concept that will keep on delivering for both the studio and the fans and the players. We are coming from an era when games were consumed differently, right? We are coming from an era when games were pressed on a CD and later DVD and maybe Blu-ray. You would pop it into your drive and play it that way, and then put it aside and never come back after a few days, months, whatever, but depending on how crazy you were about the game. But just as the game was released, both Euro Truck and American Truck are actually, I don't know, a few years apart. The way that we understand where games are and how we play them was changing. It was suddenly all digital, right? These days, the kids are used to app stores and then Google stores or whatever to just go to their new entertainment. And games changed. The business model is changing into games being more like a service rather than like one-time consumption object. So when we were releasing the games, we were not even aware that they would have the longevity that they are getting. The first DLCs for Euro Truck were kind of experiment. If we can kind of make something like a stopgap release until we do Euro Truck 3. But then we realized, okay, there is actually a way to keep evolving the same concept. We don't have to sell the same game to the same people every year, like some other franchises. We can kind of protect their investment and our investment in a way by expanding the world and revisiting the existing content to make it better. So the way how we discovered our business model was also like non-intentional and not certainly a plan at the moment of release. Even American Truck, when we released it, we were kind of just like seeing the success of Euro Truck 2 being like permanent or long-term, at least, hopefully. And so starting with California and ever hoping to reach the East Coast was a crazy dream, and like it's less and less crazy, right? We are like kind of halfway.
Yeah.
Right now, I can imagine that we'll be there.
Recently, we also stepped into Canada already.
Yeah, and we are of course talking American Truck, not necessarily just US Truck Simulation, as a hope for other regions to broaden the scope, to be elsewhere than people may have initially anticipated. So it's an ever-evolving concept. It's never kind of done. Back in the day, the term early access didn't exist, and the games certainly are not early access. But looking back, how much the game is changing, and some of the core elements have been replaced and will continue to do so. It's a game that's constantly changing. It's like never ceasing. It's a nice thing in some ways, and also is a problem for many people, like mod stability and kind of muscle memory when we touch something that's been around for a decade, and then we decide it's time to move on and change it. These are controversial elements, of course, but we still do believe our instincts. We still do believe that we'll make mostly the right decisions, even if we take a little misstep here and there. We still believe in the vision, and we'll deliver. Ultimately, we'll get there to the East Coast. We'll get up north. We may get down south. We'll see. So this is a huge game and a huge commitment for us, and just we want to do it right.
Also, that now
mean-
we are like working on bringing new perspective, right, with the prisoner vehicles, like
Yeah.
giving the whole in-game world a second purpose, kind
Yeah,
of.
that's another craze, right? And the community is to blame. In fact,
It's your fault, chat. You heard that.
Your phone chat. Yeah, you hear that?
we were initially building what? We were building like a virtual world where the trucks should go. So you would go to some kind of depot at the outskirts of a large city. The city would be there in the distance, then onto the highway, and next to the next major node on the interstate network. But then people were asking, can we do Yosemite? Can we do the various national parks? Can we do this touristic attraction? How about Route 66 and all these little details? And before you know it, you are shamed into covering elements of the world that are not even quite fitting for a truck driver's daily life. They are more like touristy destinations that are there for enjoyment. And the game and the perception of the game has been changing by embracing this, and by the community embracing this. They just don't want to do like just the job. They do want to escape into this universe that's larger than just like the core of business of trucking. And because we were investing into this huge world, it just like makes sense to see how do we rationalize going to these places? What do we do with them? To have people a chance to explore them at their own pace without feeling stressed that they are missing delivery time of their job, or like be more casual about exploring the world. And this is where the idea of why don't we do what the mod community is also doing? Why don't we bring additional types of vehicles into the world? And before you know it, we were talking, okay, how about passenger cars, or how about even just like not semi-trucks, but really just trucks, as the US audience would understand the term, because us in
Like
our
pickup
country
trucks.
would say like a pickup truck
Yeah.
is a pickup, right? But when you utter the word truck to somebody who doesn't know our game and had their first instinct may be an SUV or pickup or
Right,
like
right.
this a monster truck or whatever else, not just semi. So we said, you know what if we bring trucks in there, and before we knew it, people here got in love with the idea, and why don't we bring some like
Exotic cars.
exotic
heritage,
cars or
like
some kind of like
iconic
historical
legends.
iconic pieces. And we were kind of going all crazy in making concepts that would rationalize the existence of these vehicles in the game world. It's still kind of evolving thing, but you're full steam ahead on creating the models, tweaking the physics. Hopefully it will turn out right. Recording the sounds, doing all kind of crazy rendering improvements to have the light in the cabin better, stuff like that. That is natural evolution of the game itself anyway. But we are trying to look at the concept of Euro Truck and American Truck in like broader sense. We have built these huge sandboxes, these huge worlds, and we are sort of kind of limiting the audience to people who also happen to enjoy trucks, lorries for our UK audience. But what if we really explore it from a different perspective? And we have been pursuing this for quite a few years. Honestly, we were hoping that we would be faster about it. We are now kind of on SCS time. SCS is kind of famous for spending a lot of time on various little things before they are considered ready for release. But this is another commitment that we are pursuing, that let's make the game yet more open to yet more types of players, yet more kind of perspectives. And who knows, maybe cars, maybe in case of European Truck Simulator, maybe coaches are only a start of like a broader expansion in the following years.
It's exciting. It really is exciting what the road ahead looks like for both American Truck Simulator and Euro Truck Simulator 2. But I do want to go back a bit and touch on a topic that we actually haven't even really covered much on our 10 years of ATS celebration so far, because I was kind of going through some of the archives of the blog. Now, for those who follow our blog at blog.scssoft.com, you know there's quite a bit of history there. You can go all the way back to some of the first original blogs that were posted there back in 2010 even, and it is quite fascinating to kind of go through all the different posts that were made back then. And of course, SCS Software, as Pavel mentioned, was a much smaller team, and a lot of the posts was made by yourself, Pavel, and maybe a few members of the team as well.
Yeah, that was
back then you was the marketing team.
If you read the very early posts, a year or two of the early blog content would be pretty much 95% authored by me, without chatbots and without, spell checking properly, maybe even sometimes. And they would typically look like, we haven't blogged for about a week. It's crazy. It's Friday morning already. Team, can you please give me a screenshot or two for this afternoon's blog post? I'll whip something up. So that was very disorganized, very chaotic, very like random, but very kind of in a way honest. Like we knew we need to engage our fans. We were willing to spill some information. We were hoping that people would be more kind of interested in seeing kind of behind the scenes, not just like marketing and hype, but really, we have this series and these ambitions until today to see the team, see the process, understand our thinking. So we were experimenting with this from early days. And before a marketing team or our community team was even created, that would be up to me, because the rest of the 15 or so sized crew of SCS was really developers, doing their best to create something for the game itself. So it took some time for us to kind of have people a few hours a week dedicated to this activity. That wouldn't just be me. And then I don't know when, but with Nemiro aboard
2016, actually next month it's my 10 years anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're gonna have another month of streams for that. That's gonna be crazy.
So we had a bunch of testers here were really like more into engagement than just playing the game. And maybe that was the core of the team initially, that you were kind of
it was kind
happy
of
to
me, and then first 2D graphic designer Philip also joined shortly after me. And then Mr. Chenda, who later turned himself all by himself into a video maker.
Yes.
Who does really nice video trailers for our products, for our DLCs now. And now it's a team of 12 people, I believe. Yeah, and we're exploring new things. And Benny is hyping behind the screen. Yeah.
Big up the video makers.
Times have also changed. Like the whole size of the team 15 years ago would be 12, 15 people. Now that's just the size of the team that's about interacting with the community and promoting of the game. Because we are living in the world of YouTube and social media and TikTok and all that, and we just have to be there where the players are, or whether our future players may be lurking and waiting and looking for something fresh to play. So we just have to do our best to be visible, to engage the existing players and the future ones. And it's like a full-time job. It's no longer possible to do it on the side.
No, nowadays we are doing even, I don't know, let's say 6 weeks straight, a bit blog post or marketing communication on each day, right?
Yeah,
so
we are. Yeah, it's very, very active. I mean, you look back at 2014 or 2013, for example, 74 blog posts, which is still a sizable amount. That's a good amount of blog posts for for being such a small team. But last year we did 238, and it just goes to show how much growth and progress has been. But the reason I did want to touch on the subject of blogs was because I actually went through quite a few of them, looking for talking points and things to kind of share on our social media for our 10 years of ATS. And I like that you mentioned earlier that, a lot of it came from you and just from the team, and it was quite honest and transparent, because I think that did really play a big role into, building the community around not only SCS Software, but both the game titles as well. They loved kind of how real it felt, that it was just a human behind the screen just telling them how it was, sort of thing. And I like that somebody in the chat did notice that. Actually, I know it's kind of hard to see with my big chair, but this screenshot I'm using in the background is from one of the original American Truck Simulator Screens Fridays. Yeah, it's from San Francisco. So this is actually from 2015. It was one of the early screenshots that was shared
I
there
think back
as
then
well.
this bridge in the game even had like a 1 lane less, right? And then
It was,
when we
it was shrunk as well.
Yeah.
Even the number of lanes. And I think I may have, like, it's been years, but I may recall this particular blog post because I was at GDC in San Francisco. That was like a year before the game was released. And I was going on foot across the bridge, taking photos at the start of the bridge.
Doing the research trip, basically.
Kind of comparing, I asked the team to produce a screenshot from the back then still unreleased game of that location. And I was trying to show the future players, the fans, this is what's reality, how I see it now at the moment, kind of during the stay, and this is what the map designers and the artists that interpret this location have prepared for the current early builds of our game, internal builds of the game. And I felt so good about the like kind of, it felt the same. I mean, by these days, by the standards of the day, we had to revisit the location already, and we improved it since then. But back then, 10 years ago or so, I felt so good about being so kind of precise in this kind of in the feel of the mood of the location. So really, that was the time when I was the blog post author, and sometimes even chipping in with my own photos or making the screenshots myself. Now we have a committee that every screenshot candidate that is produced here by our specialist still goes through the map designers and the vehicle team and testers that may or may not green light the individual screenshot for kind of lack of content or some tiny oversight, some angle of the unreleased content that may not be like the best, putting our game into the best light. So back then really it was super simple, and it tended to produce errors more than today maybe. But that's how you play it, right? That's like a tiny team with tiny time budget for anything. We were mostly focusing on actually creating those games.
But you did make waves on the internet, actually. Looking back on it, one of the blogs there that was put out was about the reveal of American Truck Simulator. Now, I believe, if I remember correctly, originally it was done via the PC Gaming Show about a year before, but you did also get a spot with them at E3, which was obviously quite big back then. And that made worldwide trending on social media, along with some other bigger titles as well, which was really, really cool to see. So even back then, the hype was real, and I believe that you got to kind of go out to America and kind of show off the game to quite a few people out there as well. And I'm not sure if you were there, Pavel. I believe you might have been, right, at one of the expos. Was it PAX East? Was it that you were there for?
I think we were at one point in Boston. That must have been like 10 years ago.
It must have been PAX East, yeah.
In the early days of PAX, sharing the booth with a few other companies. But that was a very interesting period of life too, that we actually had no idea if the game will succeed economically. I mean, we had this idea that Eurotruck is working on Steam, but you are totally nervous until the moment you release something new. If really it's accepted, if really you don't get that many thumb downs, that it will burn your game before you even gets a chance to prove itself. So it was a time of excitement, but also a time of like a stress. Did we make a bet that will not work? Did we go something? Will we be able to kind of address the community that will be looking beyond ETS2? for something different. Luckily, we now in hindsight we did succeed, but back then nothing was sure. So we did our best to travel places. I was in the early days also we had the problem with the licenses. I was a couple of times flying to the Kenworth headquarters in Washington State,
Trying
in
to
Seattle.
tweet from
or-
there, like
we were really struggling to secure at least one or two real licenses for the game. And there was also like a case that it kind of felt like we have no chance. We had no traction. We were not getting through to anybody. And then by chance, we were super lucky for one of the managers at Kenworth to kind of understand the concept. She was coming from Microsoft of all places originally. Moved
that's
to,
right.
That's
to
why,
a
that's
truck
why, I
manufacturer.
guess.
So she totally knew software is a thing.
That's great.
And entertainment is a thing, and Microsoft was already talking Xbox or whatever. So we got our kind of angel at one of the truck manufacturers that helped us to talk to the big brass and persuade the marketing people and the licensing specialists or the lawyers, the legal, that okay, this is worth it. This is bringing more eyeballs to your brand. So at the last minute, kind of like a few months before the release, we already had the game kind of sort of working, but we were still struggling to secure the very first licenses. And the Packard group with Kenworth and Peterbilt was just like sheer luck that we ultimately found an angle to talk to them, because we were in the US, we were totally nobody. We didn't know, we tried to go places, but you only get so far through kind of the protection layers of these big companies. We were going to gaming expos, we were going to truck industry expos, to logistics expos. Nothing kind of seemed to work until we were lucky. So your persistence paid off, but we may have been sitting on the game for a year or two more until we ultimately would land the license, or if ever. So it was also kind of a lot of uncertainty about that element.
Are you by
Do
any
you-
chance in touch with any of these like people from the very beginnings, like this lady from Kenworth? Are you like sending Merry Christmas cards to each other? Or
And not this year or last, but we had a very nice breakfast in Seattle a couple of years ago still.
Oh, that's nice.
Because we are a lot to be grateful for. This is an era where a lot of these people have changed over the years. Like a marketing director at a major company may only last for a few years, and the story. We always have to kind of reconnect and reestablish a relation with a partner. Every couple
Sometimes
of
all
years,
of a
it's kind of
sudden,
like a hard reset, and you have to start all over, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
There is no corporate memory. They start kind of from scratch with little concepts like some partnership with a truck sim manufacturer developer. But a few of these people, especially the engineers around these companies that were helpful from early days. We have a fantastic partner at the International. We have some great people still at Peterbilt and Kenworth. These are people that we come back to, and that like kind of are often players of our games or have known the games of ours before we even released American Truck Simulator itself. So a lot of our success is also down to being kind of a go-to place for people from the industry. And it's of course improving as years go on. 10, 15 years ago, again, it was all kind of a novelty and a tiny niche. But now that the games have millions of players, and people in their 30s or 40s have been playing our games when they were teens, they have fond memories and they have an understanding of why that may work on a future customer of ours and theirs. It's kind of easier for us to approach companies and make our pitch for why they should still cooperate with us.
And here we are today with such a great amount of vehicles in the game in terms of truck manufacturers and upcoming road trip DLCs as well, which is just so fantastic to see, and that those relationships have just kind of bloomed into what American Truck Simulator is today. And I find it super interesting how you were quite worried for a while for American Truck Simulator, and I just wanted to ask, was there a point that you remember that, okay, ATS has found its footing, we're going to be okay, it's actually going to work out?
I think that moment may have been like, I remember correctly, the first release of the game was like the core was California, and then we kind of added 2 free map DLCs, like
Yes, yeah, yep.
Arizona and Nevada. Was it Nevada? Right.
New Mexico, right? Oh, Nevada, yeah.
No, New
New
Mexico
was the
paid
first
DLC.
New Mexico
DLC.
yeah.
After maybe was the order would be, I guess, New Mexico, Oregon, Washington State, and Utah. And maybe around the time of the release of Utah, I kind of felt, okay, we are getting into a kind of stable system. The team was stabilized. We were just past the resizing of the maps to the final scale, with Oregon and Washington already being built to proper scale, or 1:20 scale. And I felt, we are now stable and this can survive, because until then, American Truck is actually still today, the community is smaller, the business is kind of smaller than Euro Truck. We have still a ways to nurture the community to grow to the more populated regions of the US, where still hopefully more customers are waiting until their own region is covered. We were not sure that this is like sustainable if the team had to grow to deliver on the ambition to cover the continent. Is there a way to sustain the manpower to build the world? But then after the few initial DLCs, it kind of stabilized and it could bootstrap itself and to grow into like a proper ecosystem of the sandbox DLCs. But it's not like I'm ever done worrying, right? Like I would be worrying 15 years ago, or on the release of both the flagship games of ours. But I'm still a little nervous today. Are we not making some stupid oversight mistake? Are we investing enough in the technology? And some people may argue that we may try harder. Are we doing enough to make the everyday work of the map designers and artists like easy enough to create fantastic content easier, faster, in a more productive way, or less buggy way? There's always this internal struggle of how do we split the attention to improving our tools versus adding features to the game that the players see. It's like the job of the company leadership is never done. Like it's not like you go to bed on Friday and wake up on Monday to go back to work. I kind of spend time with checking what's happening with the game on weekends too. And I bring my laptop to my vacations. Yeah. I'm never done, because I can always I kind of feel like I can make a mistake and make an oversight and ignore some little trend that will, before I know it, grow into something huge. So are we safe now? We are never safe. Like the competition never sleeps. There's always attempts to beat us at our own game, kind of, and I appreciate that. I even think that we would welcome competition in the sense that it broadens the player base ultimately of people who love open road and who love vehicles. And there's never enough vehicle content. I mean, some of the serious sims are kind of having this little nuclear war among themselves. But when it comes to driving the open road and just having fun, I don't think there is enough. That there could be more room for other people. It's not like we would want to be defeated. We would like to be the winners of any such competition. But from a player's perspective, I would welcome kind of more opportunities to be out there and just like drive into the sunset, just like we are kind of doing now.
Exactly, yeah. And I find it super interesting that you kind of recall back to some of those challenges and the future ahead. And I remember something specifically when I was kind of back in the office a little bit and hearing some of the talk around meetings that, of course, and I think even still today is still obviously it's something you'll think about in the future, but talking about some of the bigger cities on the East Coast, those are such complex challenges for the game engine. But of course, since that time, the game engine's changed over time, new technology added for the map designers, and just this past Christmas live stream that we did together, we saw some incredible screenshots from our upcoming DLC, Illinois, right? We saw some nice previews of
With
Chicago.
that, we are also like going
and,
to complete
yeah.
Road 66, man. I can't
Yeah,
wait
and
to
complete
do a
Route 66
stream
as well,
of
yeah.
full Road 66 ride.
It's gonna be so amazing, yeah, and it's just incredible to see how far the team have come there and how it's shaped over time, and now they're tackling these places, you know, kind of head on. But of course, there's still a lot of challenges on the road ahead, as you say.
Yeah, when I've seen the ambition for what Chicago would portray, how to be portrayed in the game, I thought the map designers are crazy with the underground part and kind of going to the very core of the city. And of course, it's all smoke and mirrors. Like with our scale, you cheat a lot. You make a lot of tricks to make the impression, but ultimately, it's such a nice impression. It's such a nice tribute to the city that I think Chicago proves that we can do really interesting, like impressions of larger locations that are improving. I'm not sure how much of it is technology. A lot of it's just grit of the designers. Like they are kind of crazy, spending hours and hours clicking away those tiny details. The engine is kind of like struggling to make it happen. We are working ever hard to improve things, but the map designers are kind of always asking for more. Anytime we get some new tools to their hands, they tend to take full advantage of it and go into even exploiting it to kind of break the programmers' calm and again push them for more. I really do hope that by the time we get to the East Coast, the tools and the technology will be yet better to give us a yet higher kind of quality of the depiction of the very, very populated East Coast locations. There are major cities that are so close together that from our point of view, they will just be kind of growing into each other. We'll have quite a time to somehow pull it off. But I've seen some early prototypes. People here are already thinking about these challenges, planning ahead for them, and they have kind of ideas of how to do a good job about even the busy East Coast locations. Or we'll go to other major destinations in Florida. We'll go to we are now covering kind of the region of Great Lakes, where Chicago and Indianapolis are huge destinations. All this hard work now that we as we go across the continent will ultimately pay off when we reach the East Coast.
Absolutely, and I love what you said there. You know, the team behind SCS Software, you know, there's so many people involved in the creation of DLCs these days, you know, down to road specialists, to the vegetations teams, you know, the map designers, assets, you know, research team, all of them coming together to create these incredible
We have such a high
cities.
specialization, right?
Right, we really do.
You know, this is the way that American Truck originally built by a handful of people. I think the team was originally 2 map designers. Maybe by the time we were shipping, they may have been 3 or maybe
like,
even
what,
4.
250?
Now it's like 50 people dedicated just to ATS, 50 plus already. But back then, they wouldn't have the advantage of being able to depend on location scouting done by the research team and economy analytics done by the research team. The map people would be the ones opening Google Street View or taking some photo albums and searching the internet for references. We were a tiny, cheap, poor company. We didn't travel to those places still in the early years. So it was all done by like relying on kind of digital stuff that you could find on the internet. And these days you have specialists that do the vegetation, like the trees and grass and all that is done by a team that's specializing in that. Back then, the same person who did a vehicle one day may be going to build a house on the next week, and then maybe a tree or 2 the following week, and then go back to road markings. So everybody was kind of universal back then. Crazy days. These days, you tend to specialize, which ultimately serves the purpose of making the individual elements better, but it's also creating a lot of like a need for coordination and there's a lot of noise in the system inevitably as people each go on their kind of agendas and like focus on the given field, and you before you know it, you have to make people who organize things, who manage, who produce, kind of like producer roles, who coordinate. So scaling the company from 10, 15 all the way to 400 plus, it doesn't just mean that our productivity kind of scales in a linear fashion with that manpower growth. We inevitably have to spend a lot of time kind of keeping things under control inside the whole kind of structure of teams and their kind of approaches to elements. But we're still seeing some need for growing yet more. We still have quite a lot of open roles for 2026.
Do you think that need will ever end? Like that we will get to the point where we will feel like, okay, now we have enough people for anything that we want to do?
The body count is never like the goal. It's not like we have the ambition to boast some crazy number of employees. I would much rather than growing, I would much rather improve the tools to make the map designers like twice productive than they are today, or have the vehicle team struggle less with implementing or introducing the vehicles into the game. A lot of it is now depending on laborious manpower process. But I don't imagine, if we doubled our productivity, I would imagine that our fan base would prefer to get more content faster than for SCS to ever get rid of people and kind of slow down. So we are still looking out for more stuff, not just creators, not just programmers or artists, but also to other teams. Like you had opened a role recently. Or
Yes, recently, like 2 new people joined our team. Yeah.
So we have to be better about all the aspects of game dev and game promotion and whatever we have to actually make just to be able to make the games.
Yeah, and well, if any of you in the chat right now are kind of interested in a potential career at SCS Software, you can always head over to scssoft.com/jobs. You can check out all the positions there. Definitely worth taking a look around and also reading some messages from our team members there as well. Time is running out quickly. The hour's going by so quickly, but I do have a couple of last questions for you, Pavel, and I hope this isn't too big of a question to ask. But if I wanted to know if you could go back and tell 2016 Pavel one thing, what would it be?
Whoa, deep question.
Deep question, yeah.
Go back to 2016 and sorry, and what?
And tell yourself one thing.
One
what would
thing.
it be? Yeah.
Like how to change the history, retro history, how to put it, to make it yet better. I don't know. I mean, ultimately, a lot of tiny mistakes, I would admit, led to quite a strong and successful result. If I were, I tend to be, overprotective and maybe worrying a lot where I shouldn't be. And back then, I may have been more like free roaming it, or maybe less more carefree. I would worry then today if I were to talk to myself as of 10 years ago. I would be slowing me down, and I would be making myself unhealthily worrisome. So maybe I would rather not talk to myself from 2016. Let that guy play it all through and make it happen. If anything, it would always be, hire more coders, do better on tech. I think we were historically strong on tech. Some people may not appreciate it, but this huge sandbox of ours, that's you can drive across it for hours and hours and hours. That was something super unique, definitely 10, 15 years ago. It's not that unique anymore, but now that the team is doing the hard work, thanks to the team creating those games, we are in many ways unique. We may not have the shiniest pixels out there, like all the big Unreal vehicle productions are boasting all these like layers of water on the asphalt to show off how glitzy they can make the pixels. we are kind of maybe more straightforward and simpler as of today. But the tech, the procedural generation that we employed early on was strong point of SCS and was unique. And if anything, I would suggest myself to be yet more active about growing the technical capabilities of ours to deliver faster on the tools and faster on the game features. Because what is worrying me until today is that we have always kind of like lagged behind the ambition. We were always kind of dreaming about adding more to the games, and always kind of the reality is catching up that this is taking a few months more, this is taking longer, and it is kind of snowballing. And comparing to where I might have seen our games 5 years ago, let's say, today we are definitely not there. I wish we would be better about being more courageous about the growth, about making those bets. We were very conservative. We were very kind of safe. We may have been more courageous. But my worry is, again, if I were to talk to myself 10 years ago, I may be, on the other hand, warning myself not to be totally like crazy. So who knows? I think we played it reasonably well.
That's a good answer. I like that, though. It's real. It's honest. I like that a lot. And one other question for you. What excites you most about the road ahead for American Truck Simulator?
I think, people who are here because of the trucks may not like to hear that much. But I think broadening the player base by inviting people who want to drive cars, or in the case of Eurotruck, coaches or other types of vehicles in the future, making the game a more universal sandbox of all things driven, of all things that you can drive, would be the thing that I would, find myself to be super exciting. It's like I want to be there in this world and do more. And even though pulling some cargoes across the continent it's this kind of zen quality of itself, having yet more reasons to be there, to do something, is what kind of now inspires me to push for more. But when it comes to the core of the games, core of the American Truck in particular here, I'm really looking forward to going, just not necessarily reaching the East Coast yet, but doing yet another kind of layer of the onion, adding a few more extra states, north to south, because we are now reaching the different region of US. And the east, the west was very kind of, you have deserts, you have like remote locations, but we are now getting to the very populous regions, to like different kind of geography. We'll get to the Rockies, we'll get to the big lakes. We'll ultimately get, we are already there kind of with Louisiana. We are getting south. So a lot of variety now, a lot of diversity in the cultures and in the regionality. That makes the game so much more interesting to me, and hopefully to the players as well. That these locations are really, like, we try to pay them the right attention so they are recognizable, that they are unique, that they are not the same thing. Like in the early years of SCS, the first 18 weeks of Steel games were just a kind of few houses, always rearranged into a different cluster, but the content was super limited. Now we have so many unique landmarks, so many unique buildings. Every new state, every new country, in case of Eurotruck, deserves their own research, their own kind of hundreds and hundreds unique models. This is so much, like, this is so rich in content. I really am excited about giving people a reason to go to these places.
I love that. I really do love that. And I'm really excited as well for the road ahead, and, seeing all of these incredible places. Like you said, there's so much history on this side of America as well, and it's completely different to the other side. And the future is exciting, and we're here for it. We've got many miles on the road ahead, and just as fast as 10 years has flown, so is the stream. We've almost got to start wrapping things up here in a minute, but Pavel, I do want to say thank you so much for allowing us to kind of tap into your mind a little bit and kind of bring back some memories. It's been really, really interesting to kind of hear about the history and everything. But we didn't want to kind of go away from the stream without giving our chatters the opportunity to give away a few things, to win maybe a couple of nice things from our studio. And I believe, Nemo, we have a couple of things on our desk there that we have
Yes,
planned
sir.
to
We have
give away.
We have again the amazing art book from Texas. Benny, you still have some photos? You were not here, so David had some photos on there. But never mind.
Feel free to model them if you want. Yeah,
I will be the model. I will be
there
the
you
model.
go. Oh, there you go. They're on the screen there.
What do you mean, Benny? You don't have them? You have them. So this is Making of Texas art book. We never offered.
Yes.
We never put on sale anywhere. So it's super exclusive, and it's awesome. It's full of beautiful images and a lot of information about how we do things and how Texas was a challenge for us. So we will be given 3 of these, and then we brought also a T-shirt, which is just illustrative, American Truck Simulator logo T-shirt.
The classic logo,
which is kind
yep.
of appropriate for this occasion.
Yes.
And we will have 2 of these. But you will need to tell us your preferable size.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely get that sorted. So, chat, if you want to get involved in that giveaway,
You will need help from DJ Nemiro again, right? On the
yes,
Steam Deck, I guess.
head to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/SCS Software. Now, a couple of ground rules before we do the giveaway. Number one, this is only taking place on Twitch. Unfortunately, we don't have a way of contacting the winners after the stream on YouTube and Facebook. So now's the time to head to Twitch. Number two, you're going to need your Twitch whispers on. That's the DM system on Twitch. So we can message you after the stream. So make sure you have those on. Some people have missed out on some great prizes because we haven't been able to contact them after the stream. And number three, for logistical purposes, to get the price to you, because these are physical prices, we will need your full name, your shipping address,
Social
your
security
country,
number,
not
credit
that
card
far,
number.
phone number, and email. That's about it, just for logistic purposes, but nothing more than that. If you receive an email from Nemiro asking for more, don't listen to him. Don't believe it.
You know that rich African prince sending you
Yes,
1 million euro?
ignore him. Ignore him. So, if you do want to be in with a chance, we're going to do a keyword giveaway, and the keyword is going to be ATS10. That's ATS10. And you'll have just a couple of minutes here to enter into that giveaway. So, everybody, good luck on entering into that giveaway. If you're happy to provide all of those details to us, then, well, good luck to all of you. We'll get you. We'll hopefully get you entered. So, a couple of minutes there. ATS10. Let's start that
All
now.
together
Then. That's
with
what
no
you're running.
space in it, chat.
Yeah.
No spaces.
And
That's the
it's
one.
running now.
It's running, yeah. They're not
It is
listening
running.
to us now.
That's it.
And
So,
so
well-
many topics, just like, sorry, the thing is
Go ahead.
running. Just this fantastic art book. This was not ever meant by SCS in an official capacity to be created, but the team behind the DLC,
Project of Passion.
there was like a project of passion that the guys who poured their soul and tears and blood into the creation of the DLC, the largest ever DLC as of then. Texas was like an undertaking that ultimately may have been, the peak number may have been 25, even maybe 30 map designers for a period of time. That was a crazy project for us. For Simon, it would be right. For the guy that was assigned to lead the project, it was like 3 grueling years of his life. So they had to kind of have a closure. They felt that they created something that deserved to look back and created kind of from their internal passion an art book that I think we are offering the links somewhere on the game page.
Yes,
or
it was
PDF.
transferred into a PDF and digital
Yeah,
form as well. It's
but
on
we-
Steam. It's on our
We
website.
printed a few hundred copies of this for the team. We also gave away a few of these to our industry partners. So it's kind of like a private publication that was not meant to go into any channels for being offered for sale. So this is from these. Only a handful of them are still left for nostalgic purposes. But it was an incredible period of kind of heroism in the map team to pull off such a huge project that we were kind of postponing for a few DLCs until we felt the team has grown enough to be able to pull this off. Lots of, I guess, looking back, lots of fun memories at the time. Probably a lot of stressful days and evenings or the team creating this.
Yep.
Yes, no, it was a huge momentous task, but
And it was exactly at the end of the
that was perfect.
at the countdown.
You know, we didn't have to play the music like they do at the award ceremony to ask people
feels like
to start to
scripted.
come off the stage. Yeah,
No.
it was too perfect. Yeah, it was too perfect. All right, chat. So everyone's got their giveaway entries in. We're going to close the giveaway now. So if you enter after this time, you'll not be entered. Good luck to everyone that has entered. Let's first roll for the 3 Texas art books that we've just shown off there. So there'll be 3 of those to give away. Let's get our first winner rolling. First winner is, there's the drum roll. We love to hear it.
I'm ready.
Mr. Woof Woof 03. Congrats. You've won yourself an art book. Our second winner is... It's the crowd.
too
Let's get
fast for
cheesies
me,
in the
man.
chat. Sorry, man. Sorry, I'll slow down. Our second winner is Beast 2009 83. Congratulations, Beast. And our third and final winner of the Texas art book is SayBot _. Congratulations, you've won yourself an art book as well.
I still
Good
remember when
stuff.
you were doing this drum roll by your fingers on the table, man.
Those are different times, man. We didn't have the budget for these sounds. We had to do them at home. You know, can we have a drum roll? We have the drum roll at home. I was a drum roll at home, so.
Beatboxing.
And let's roll for the t-shirts as well. Now, these are for the ATS t-shirts. Our first winner is Lockbee, LOKBE. Congratulations, you've won yourself an American Truck Simulator t-shirt. And our second and final winner of the giveaway is D_Diesel0082. Congratulations, you've also won yourself a t-shirt. So Lockbee, DDiesel0082, Mr. Wolfwolf 03, Beast 2093, and SayBot _. Congratulations, you're all winners.
GG.
I'll be in touch with you after the stream. And well, that brings us right to the top of the hour, everyone. That has flown. Yeah, I mean, it's been such a great time, kind of reminiscing about 10 years of American Truck Simulator. And Pavel,
Just like that, the full month
Yeah.
of February gone, man. Almost.
I know
almost.
it's wild. We couldn't be more grateful for your time tonight, Pavel. Thank you for joining us again in the studio this evening.
I'm super happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Good luck sending out those t-shirts. I mean, I've noticed a question about why don't we have our merchandise shop to offer these things for people who want to buy them. Some of you may remember we tried some years back.
We did.
We thought, the community was really eager to get something, and we found out the hard way that we just, it's a really hard time to deliver something to Brazil or to Vietnam or to places where people play our games and want our stuff, because everybody's these days used to ordering from Amazon or places
And
that have
it's,
local deliveries within the next
expect the
few
package
days.
to be like the second
And
day at their
some-
door.
Some of the parcels would travel 6 weeks to destination, would come damaged or not come at all.
We got
So
stuck at customs.
in the end, I think we tried to spread love of SCS brands and all the things we do, and a lot of our super loyal fans were feeling kind of how to put it, not so happy with the service that we would provide with the merchandise. So in the end, we decided to roll back and give it up. We still have, I think, a few hundred of these t-shirts somewhere in
Yes.
storage
Yeah.
because we manufactured like 10,000 of them
Yeah, we were kind of hungry.
to have a lot of in stock. But it's really difficult these days with physical goods. Digital goods are not that much easier. So the people who do expect to these gifts from SCS, these the things that they won in our giveaway, they may have it complicated because it would take weeks to travel again across the planet, and who knows, maybe there is this danger that some of the regions will ask for some tax on import tax or duty tax on arrival. This is still not a global world where things are easy to deliver from the Central Europe that we are now. So have patience with these gifts.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, no, definitely. But no, congratulations once again, everyone. And thank you all for joining us on our stream. If you're joining us again for the second night in a row, if you've joined us for all of the celebrations of 10 years of ATS, thank you. We really do appreciate your support. And before we disappear, Pavel, really quickly, is there any final words for the community you have before we say goodbye here?
I can only express my gratitude to the fantastic community of ours that they have been with us for so many years and they are still around. And I should also thank definitely to the team that makes it possible, that creates this fantastic game. Let's hope we can stick together for a few more years and deliver on the ultimate vision of the best truck sim ever.
Yep.
Wonderful. Thank you, Pavel. Appreciate it. Nimro, thank you for your driving today. Definitely no speeding or
Always a
bushing
pleasure.
into X.
I
roadblocks
knew
or
you were gonna
anything.
bring it up at the last 30
I
seconds.
saw the
Yeah.
points come up. I saw it.
Yeah,
We'll
I got
discuss it on
another
another
point.
stream.
Yeah, I have
We'll
8
discuss it.
points now, 4 more points, and I will be sent back to driving academy.
That's how it goes. I didn't make the rules, man. That's not on me.
Yeah, I made them.
And as well, Benny behind the scenes, thank you so much for your smooth production as always.
Benny, we need to
It
talk.
was really
I
great.
know you gave me that point. We need to talk.
Now, chat, don't forget, we do have another stream tomorrow. So if you're not following already,
Yep.
do be sure to subscribe or to follow wherever you're watching from. Do not miss out on tomorrow's stream, because tomorrow's stream is going to be really, really cool. We're going to be checking out some very special things with some very special guests. So
Yes, sir.
definitely looking forward to that one. But until then, take care, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye for now, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.